All right, for this third video, I want to talk about how you can play with color. And now color is similar. We're going to play with similar ways of working as we did for value. So with color, we have a wonderful adjustment layer. I'm going to do this again, top of my layer stack, and go up, and we have a thing called, well, there's a few, but the one I recommend is hue and saturation. With hue and saturation, you're going to get three sliders you can play with. The hue is the color. We can use this to actually cycle through colors, which is kind of nice. Saturation is the amount of color. So if I push my saturation really high, it's lots of color. And this creates a nice sort of psychedelic scene. I can also lower my saturation and get to a grayscale. The limit here is you don't get any control of what kind of grayscale you get. So black and white is much better adjustment layer for color. But maybe I just want just a lower color. Right? And then our lightness is our values a little bit. So again, we can darken and lighten. Again, you don't get a ton of control here. Levels works a whole lot better for doing that. Yes, so what I'm doing right now is affecting everything because I'm at the top of my layer stack. So it's going to affect everything below it. One thing that's really cool with this, though, that we can do, there's a little button called Colorize. Colorize does what it looks like, right? It tints everything to one color. So we can use this to shift overall color and again saturation. And this works really well for some of these elements that I have that are pure black and white, right? My base images are actually black and white. So that's a very different sort of scene being set up than something like this, right? As with all adjustment layers, as you're probably getting used to, we can use this on individual elements. So I'm going to put this on top of just my sky. And now I can say, you know what, I want my sky to be, well, maybe not colorized. Maybe I want my sky to be a nice, bright, dark, scary kind of sky. And I want my land, well, actually, you know what? I want my woman. I want her, hue and saturation. I'm going to colorize her, and I'm going to clip that to her. She's going to be colorized, so now I can control her and maybe tint her into something that's a little bit closer to the sky. Maybe somewhere in there, right? That adds something that makes it look like she's more in the scene. And actually, if I wanted, I could do something as simple as lowering the opacity of the woman, and now she's a little bit more of a ghost, and that starts letting some of the sky show through, and she sort of fades out. Some of the color of the sky starts showing through. Yep. So yes, we can do overall whole, we can do individual layers, and then we can have some fun starting to figure out what do we want to do with pretty much any and all of this, right? So as far as a design goes, I'm going to do maybe a hue and saturation. And I'm going to kind of, I don't know what I'm doing actually. Wasn't sure where I was going with this. I had an idea and just kind of lost it. I'm just going to play with sliders, right? Start with playing with sliders, seeing what I can make happen, right? Maybe instead of a hue and saturation, let's do this. I want to do a black and white. And I'm going to do some sort of, something to this. Everything below, with this one, it's affecting everything below. And black and white adjustment layers also have opacity. So I'm going to just lower the opacity just a little bit so I can kind of get a hint of color showing through. And that's going to affect everything below it, which in my case is pretty much everything but the little kid. And the kid, I want to do a hue and saturation, and I'm going to tint her. I'm going to clip it to her. And now I can play with something, maybe a very bright. Yeah, I've got like this nice bright orange kind of thing happening. Where's that hue and saturation on the sky? I think that's a little too much. So now I got this little girl that's popping out. Right. She becomes a focal point. I can do something cool with that. What? I have no idea yet, but that's the fun of this. We're just going to play with different ideas and play with sliders and just sort of shift our attention, play with focus, change the base image in different ways to see what happens, right? And come up with lots of different ideas. And yeah, I have no idea what kind of music this is, but I'm kind of having fun playing with this just to see what I can do. So I'm going to call that good for color and say, you know, again, adjustment layers, affecting overall whole, individual layers, have some fun with that, play with blending a little bit. So, oops, where's the one with the little kid? I'm going to lower the opacity on that, so just a little bit, so it's not quite as bright, right? And then I'm going to have one more video. I'm going to show you how to do some more things with manipulating the image and starting to set it up. So that's it for this one. Thank you.